Imagine, no possessions. Yeah, right. You told us how the world would be a better place if there was no money, Mr. Lennon. And here I am, waiting for your limo. Of course, a normal car's not good enough for you. Not good enough to bring you back to your $1 million home from a fancy dinner night, or wherever you are, John. You're phony, and someone's gonna stop your lies. Holden Caulfield will. I will. Oh, there you are. Okay. Holden Caulfield is ready. I am ready. Do it, do it, do it, do it! December 8th, 1980, the day when a former Beatle, John Lennon, was shot and killed right outside of his New York City apartment. In this episode, we're going to explain why and show you how it happened. After his 10-year tenure in arguably the world's most famous band, the Beatles, John Lennon moved to the US to continue the music career as an independent artist. But his agenda quickly extended far beyond music. A radical political activist and avid critic of President Nixon for starting a war in Vietnam, at some point Lennon had been a serious concern for many US politicians. Until 1980, when Mark David Chapman became forever infamous as the man who shot John Lennon. So, why did Mark Chapman kill Lennon? Like in many of the cases we review, we start collecting pieces of the puzzle from early childhood. Mark Chapman was growing up in a family where physical abuse was common. His father, a US Air Force staff sergeant, would beat up his mom. Young Mark was trying to defend her, but at the time he wasn't strong enough. The destructive feelings of helplessness, fear, and self-doubt stayed with Mark through his childhood and adolescence. Meanwhile, the US was going through the sexual revolution. While the provocative covers of the Playboy magazine were becoming the new norm, a 16-year-old Chapman was looking for answers to why he felt so pathetic, alienated, and disconnected from the world around him. And he finally found his answers in the book called The Catcher in the Rye, written by J.D. Salinger. Chapman identified himself with the fictional novel protagonist Holden Caulfield. Like Holden, he believed that the root cause of his problems was in the hostile world created by the adults around him. Those disingenuous and dishonest people, thinking about nothing but their benefits, joys of life, putting up smiles. Ugh, those fools. I hate all of them. As Chapman was growing older, there was just a handful of people who he admired. One of them was John Lennon. Oddly enough, the man who shot Lennon had always been a Beatles fan. He even once told his friends that he was dreaming about becoming Lennon. An idea suddenly crossed his mind. He needed to get famous. Yeah, why not? Just like John. Why is he so famous and I'm a nobody? Chapman was asking himself. He struggled with that puzzle for a while until the solution was found. To become famous, he thought he might just kill someone famous. Paul McCartney, Jackie Kennedy, Elizabeth Taylor, Ronald Reagan. All of these people were considered by Chapman as potential targets. Wait a minute, if Mark Chapman admired John Lennon, why would he shoot him then? Oh, well, Chapman's a very controversial character. His opinion about Lennon completely changed over a few years. The first thing that got him angry about Lennon was John's uncareful claim about the Beatles being more popular than Jesus. A very religious young man, Mark Chapman, was shocked when he heard that. But the thing that really got Chapman furious was the book John Lennon, One Day at a Time by Anthony Fawcett, which had portrayed Lennon as a wealthy person owning multi-million-dollar apartments in New York City, luxury yachts, farms, and country estates. Chapman could not comprehend how Lennon would preach peace and love, condemn excessive wealth, but yet have his pockets filled with millions of dollars. In his mind, Lennon became one of those liars, one of those adults who poisoned the world around Chapman. Finally, Mark identified his perfect target, the one who he hated more than anybody else in the world, and the one whose murder will immediately give Chapman the fame he had been craving for so long. Here's how he actually did it. Chapman knew that the former Beatle lived with his wife Yoko Ono in the Dakota apartment complex near Central Park in New York City. 6 weeks before the shooting, Chapman bought his gun legally in Hawaii, where he resided. He flew to New York from Hawaii and got the gun past airport security simply by placing it in the luggage. At the time, baggage checked with an airline was not searched or x-rayed. On a cold December night, Mark David Chapman was sitting in the arch of Dakota building waiting for John Lennon. The gun was already in his pocket. John's limousine pulled over next to Dakota. Yoko got out first, Lennon second. As Lennon entered the arch, he saw Chapman and recognized the fellow who had asked him for an autograph a few hours earlier. Yeah, that sounds crazy, but just a few hours before shooting Lennon, Chapman had managed to get his autograph. So both Yoko and Lennon went right past Chapman. They didn't suspect anything. They were used to seeing fans near their home. A few seconds later, Chapman withdrew the gun and fired 5 steady shots. 4 bullets hit Lennon in the back. He never even saw them coming. Chapman's mission was finally accomplished. Stunned with what he'd done, he took a copy of The Catcher in the Rye out of his pocket and started reading it, waiting for the police to arrive. John Lennon was quickly taken to a nearby hospital, where he was pronounced dead a few minutes after arrival. He was just 40 years old. In 1981, Mark Chapman was charged with second-degree murder and taken to Attica Correction Facility, the maximum security prison in the state of New York. This is the story of John Lennon's assassination. This is how it was.
Alright, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you won't miss new episodes.